do another round of random rant. I don't know what to call this at all. The thing is, I want to explore different concepts, and that's the foster cat adding the chorus to whatever I'm saying, I guess. But want to explore like random topics, um, and try to kind of like get rid of my biases, I guess, to a certain degree, and I felt like the best way to kind of randomize it and naturally let it flow would be to just select the random article in Wikipedia and go from there. So I'm not gonna try to drive it to get to a particular point or anything. I'm just gonna play around with random article and from there build on and go to other random articles and see if it takes us anywhere. And I have no idea why my foster cat is meowing. Maybe she kind of like likes my voice, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna start by selecting this random article. 1905 in Sweden. What happened in 1905? Apparently, plenty of things. It was a very busy year with one, two, three, four, five, six, seven important events happening, and four famous people were born. I'm kind of curious about all of these. Football player. What kind of football player? Like American football or actual football? Oh, it's a Sweden, so it gotta be actual football. All-time leading scorer for the Swedish national team. By the way, my foster cat, she has everything in there. She has food, she has water, she has her litter box all set up. I'm not sure why she's all chatty all of a sudden because I was there like a few minutes back and she was just hiding in her spot, not even like trying to interact with me. So now all of a sudden she's all chatty. um, I'm kind of curious about Euler. I did hear about Euler in the past. Let's start with Euler. Okay, let me do that. I'm gonna just open the bathroom door and see if she gonna just come out here. I doubt she would, but let's see. How can I help you, ma'am? What about it? You have food. You have water. You have even your place to shit. What are you complaining about? You not staying there? Or you wanna come out? Okay. Okay. Well, I left the door open, so let's see if she gonna come out. So the answer to the who lets a cat out is me. All right. So Ulf von Euler. I mean, is that Euler the same guy who um, there is some sort of like a theory on Euler, right? Or maybe I'm mixing different Eulers. Who know? He was a Swedish psychologist and pharmacologist. He shared the Nobel Prize in Psychology or Medicine for his work on neurotransmitters. That's super important because a neurotransmitter is a signaling molecule secreted by a neuron to affect another cell across a synapse. The cell receiving the signal, any main body part or target cell, may be another neuron, but could also be a gland or muscle cell. Okay, so how did you got into research, Mr. Euler? His short stay as a postdoctoral student in Dale Lab was very fruitful. In 1931, he discovered with John H. Gadam an important autopharmacological principle, substance P, which substance P or SP is an undecapeptide. I have no undecapeptide, undecapeptide member of the tachykinin neuropeptide family. It is a neuropeptide acting as a neurotransmitter and as a neuromodulator. Substance P and its closely related neurokinin A are produced from a polyprotein precursor. So this dude worked mainly on neurotransmitters. A neurotransmitter is a signal molecule secreted by a neuron to affect another cell across a synapse. Yeah, already kind of amazed by how complex our brains are and how it sort of create all of the sensations for different senses. I'm sure there are people who have some medical conditions where they can't feel one sense or the other or mix up their senses, which I've sort of experienced on some of the psychedelic um, substances I've tried. By the way, my foster cat is out of the room for the very first time, so I'm kind of curious what she gonna do. This is the very first time she is exploring my living room. I mean, the very first time she's out of bathroom, I guess, um, by by her own will. So I'm sure she's gonna, try to find her best spots to hide and whatnot. So I'm just gonna let her be. And I'm just hoping that she don't start scratching furniture randomly or anything. Okay. And one interesting fact I learned recently is that our gut has the same amount of neurons as cat's brain. So, so we have like a cat in our gut, so to speak. Isn't that fascinating? We have this gut brain which works symbiotically with our actual brain and take different actions and affect each other basically to kind of function. Like a lot of the behaviors and actions we take are influenced by the gut brain, and I bet vice versa too. A lot of the food we end up eating is because of our mind, our brain. Like we may pick up like a cheapest food or the most tastiest food as per our tongue, and it may not be nutrition, but our gut brain have to comply with what our brain comes up with. So I feel that there is so much deeper connection. I have no idea how to dissect that, and neither am I well researched in that to make any points. But of course, this is internet, and my opinions are free. So there you go. Just a freebie for you. So neurotransmitters are released from a synaptic vesicles, which are store various neurotransmitters that are released at the synapse. The release is regulated by a voltage-dependent calcium channel. Um, Sounds kind of interesting. Neurotransmitters are essential to function of complex neural systems. The exact number of unique neurotransmitters in human is unknown, but more than 100 have been identified. Okay. Common neurotransmitters include glutamate, which is GABA. Oh, no, these are two different substances. And glycine and norepinephrine. I think I definitely heard about this in the passing. Storage. Neurotransmitters are generally stored in synaptic vesicles clustered close to the cell membrane at the axon terminal of the presynaptic neuron. However, some neurotransmitters like the metabolic gases carbon monoxide and nitric oxide are synthesized and released immediately following an action potential without ever being stored in vesicles. This is what I call catcalling. Where in the world is she? I have no idea. Oh, she is. There you go. Started scratching the furniture. She is just behind the couch, learning how to climb over the couch. She's like 3-ish months old, so just trying to figure out the entire world. Good luck with that, Sprinkles. That's her name, because I believe she's like Sprinkle of Joy, which she does bring joy to me. And true story, I didn't choose her. Meaning, like, normally if I want to foster, I could go to the website, of Atlanta Humane Society through which I'm fostering, and select which cat or dog I want to foster. So I did select a cat, or she was a kitten too, but she got adopted that very day, and I'm super happy for her. And instead they just allotted me Sprinkles, and I'm not sure if I had to choose her, in the sense, if I had an option, would I have chosen her? Probably not. I don't know. So to some degree, it feels kind of like, we are arranged to be together, and I kind of love the idea of that, because because I feel there's something to be kind of like, you know uh, this is a unique experience. I'm not saying that every arranged partnership, so to speak, works out, but and obviously this is not even uh, this is so temporary, in the sense I feel that just taking care of her for a few weeks, a few months, until we find a good place, a good house for her to be adopted, would be a great pleasure and honor to a certain degree. I mean, I kind of uh, feel like I'm kind of a kid, when I'm around this kitten, like they're so curious, and try to explore everything, and I feel the same way, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to do this random article thing, because it feels kind of like, I'm trying to explore different concepts which I probably wouldn't have ever came across by myself. Although I'm pretty sure this particular topic, neurotransmitter, I've visited that in the past, and I'm gonna revisit this plenty of times, because I'm not a medically trained professional, so I need more time to kind of like, absorb all of these concepts. But one of the fascinating thing about brain in general is how we store different memories, right? Because we have these neurotransmitters which transmit different chemicals, and different neurotransmitters work in a pattern, or work collectively to kind of spark, or maybe to kind of experience different memories, I guess. I'm not sure what the right word is, but obviously the neurotransmitters kind of like work together and bring in different senses of a particular memory, or a particular visualization for that matter. And it's mind-boggling that how our brain are capable of creating different experiences without even actually experiencing it. Um, and I'm sure this neurotransmitter does play more than just uh, honestly, I don't know where I was going with that, but I was kind of curious that one neuron, an individual neuron, any one particular neuron could be part of different memories or different visualization or different part of activity. Um, and the combination of different neurons sort of paint a particular picture or scenario or experience, I guess. So if if you have a different set of neurons firing together, that would create a different experience. You know what I mean? Like every set of neurons will have its own set of experience. It could be memory, it could be a visualization of some sort. Okay, so she is trying to sneak under the couch. Or maybe just play around with all the crap I have laid around. So, you know, I'll let her explore. The world is her oyster, so whatever. A neurotransmitter is a signaling molecule secreted by a neuron. So, a neuron or a nerve cell is an electrically excitable cell that communicates with other cells via specialized connection called synapses. It is the main component of nervous tissues in all animals except sponges and placozoa. Placozoa? Plants and fungi do not have nerve cells. Hey, Sprinkles! Why does sponges and placozoa doesn't have nerve cells? What about bacteria? I mean, they're not technically animals. They're still a living organism, but probably bacteria doesn't have a nerve cell either. But sponges is the membrane of phylum Porifera are a basal animal clade as a sister of the diploblast. They are multicellular organisms that have bodies full of pores and channels allowing water to circulate through them. And placozoa are a basal form of marine free living, non parasitic multicellular organism. They are the simplest in structure of all animals. Okay. I mean, I'm a big fan of fungi. The good fungi, of course. I mean, fungi could be both a mushroom and a mold. Um, but neurons are typically classified into three types based on their functions. Sensory neurons respond to stimuli such as touch, sound, or light that affect the cells of the sensory organs, and they send signals to the spinal cord or brain. Motor neurons receive signals from the brain and spinal cord to control everything from muscle contraction to glandular output. Um, Interneurons connect neurons to other neurons within the same region of the brain or spinal cord. A group of connected neurons is called a neural circuit. A typical neuron consists of a cell body, soma. Soma is kind of like a Sanskrit word for something else. Okay. Dendrites and a single axon. The soma is usually compact. Okay, so there are so many details about that. History. Nope. You wanna come up? Okay. Just run away. She just ran away. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers passed from one neuron to another neuron or to a muscle cell or gland cell. Let's see, muscle cells. A muscle cell is also known as myokite. When referring to either a cardiac muscle cell or a smooth muscle cell, as these are both small cells. What is a smooth muscle cell? Smooth muscle is an involuntary non-straighted muscle, so called because it has no sarcomeres and therefore no striations. It is divided into two subgroups, single unit and multi-unit smooth muscle. So a muscle cell is also known as myokite when referring to either a cardiac muscle cell or a smooth muscle cell, as these are both small cells. I know I'm repeating myself, which I tend to do plenty of times because I learn that way, I guess, maybe by repetition, which is the best way to learn, or and also safe way to learn, because no matter if you feel that you're not up to the same level you want to be in any particular area of your life, the only thing you could do is repeat it and keep on repeating it until you learn the way to kind of get better at it, I guess. And some may take a year, some might take 10 years, some might take a lifetime. So be prepared for uh, learning throughout your life. The evolution, the evolutionary origin of muscle cells in animals is highly debated, as it should be. One view is that muscle cells evolved once and thus all muscle cells have a single common ancestor. Another view is that muscle cells evolved more than once and our morphological or structural similarities are due to convergent evolution in genes that predate the evolution of muscle and even the mesoderm, the germ layer that gives rise to vertebrate muscle cells. What is morphological? Convergent evolution is the independent evolution of similar features in species of different periods or epochs in time. Convergent evolution creates analogous structures that have similar form or function but were not present in the last common ancestor of those groups. The cladistic term for the same phenomena is homoplasy. So basically, when the evolution kind of like creates same feature independent of each other, they are called convergent evolution, I believe. The opposite of convergent is divergent evolution, which related species evolve different traits. Convergent evolution is similar to parallel evolution, which occurs when two independent species evolve in the same direction and thus independently acquire similar characteristics. For instance, gliding frogs have evolved in parallel from multiple types of tree frogs. Wait, I thought convergent was similar to parallel then. So, parallel is obviously two different species evolved parallelly and with the same features. Then, what is convergent? It is a similar features in species of different periods of epochs in time. So just still similar feelings but different times, different periods or time. I mean, then parallel evolution could be also at different times. Then is parallel universe could be a convergent evolution as well? Oh, did I say parallel universe? I meant parallel evolution could be a convergent evolution. I would believe there might be some few things coinciding between those two concepts. All right, yeah, there we go. Parallel versus convergent evolution. When two species are similar in a particular character, evolution is defined as parallel if the ancestor were also similar, and convergent if they were not. Okay, so here's a good picture. Oh, and I kind of messed up that picture. Will it load again? Come on, come on, load that picture. Oh no, that picture is gone forever. Okay, so divergent. So these are the parents, different features, I guess. Parallel, okay, two different parents, similar features. And what? Convergent, two different parents. When I say parents, I mean like, two different ancestors or whatever. But they're talking about amino acid and not ancestors. Okay, so I'm glad I read that information. So in each case, the left-hand species changes from having alanine A to a specific position in the protein. Okay, so this is more sciencey, so I'm not going to dive into that. But when the ancestral forms are specified or unknown, or the range of trait considered is not clearly specified, the distinction between parallel and convergent evolution become more subjective. For instance, a striking example of similar placental and marsupial form is described by Richard Dawkins in The Blind Watchmaker as a case of convergent evolution, because mammals on each continent had a long evolutionary history prior to the extinction of the dinosaurs, under which to accumulate relevant differences. Phew. I'm fascinated by eyes. So one of the best known examples of convergent evolution is the camera eye of cephalopods, such as squid and octopus. And vertebrates, including mammals, vertebrates comprise of all species of animals within the subphylum Vertebrata, including all mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish. Vertebrates represent the overwhelming majority of the phylum Chordata, with currently about 963 species described. Okay. Cephalopods are kind of easy because they are squid and octopus. Or I'm not sure if that's what they call it. And Cnidaria is a phylum under kingdom Animalia, containing over 11,000 species of aquatic animals found both in freshwater and marine environment, predominantly the latter. So there are 11,000 species of Cnidaria, I guess, and 69,000 species of vertebrates. Oh, but a range of procession led to a progressive refinement of camera eyes, with one sharp difference. The cephalopod eye is wired in the opposite direction, with blood and nerve vessels entering from the back of the retina, rather than the front as in vertebrates. As a result, cephalopods lack a blind spot. Are they saying cephalopods doesn't have a blind spot? Primates, human skin color, in genetics of skin color variation. Alright, hot topic of the night. Let's dive into it. Human skin color ranges from the darkest brown to the lightest hues. Differences in skin color among individuals is caused by the variation in pigmentation, which is the result of genetics. the exposure to the sun, or both. Differences across population evolve through natural selection because of differences in environment and regulate the biochemical effect of ultraviolet radiation penetrating the skin. At times I kind of wonder why it's just brown. I mean, maybe it's like I'm not sure if it's dependent on the blood per se, because I'm sure there are animals with different skin color but have like same blood. Like have red blood. Yeah, I was just laughing because Sprinkles was just running around her tail in circles. But at times I kind of wonder, like, if instead of different tones of brown, if instead of 50 shades of brown, if it were like 50 shades of yellow, or 50 shades of green, or 50 shades of like some other random color, how interesting or weird it would have been. But let's see. The actual skin color of different humans is affected by many substances, although the single most important substance is the pigment melanin. Melanin is produced within the skin in cells called melanocytes, and it is the main determination of the skin color of darker skinned humans. The skin color of people with light skin is determined basically by the bluish-white connective tissue under the dermis and by the hemoglobin circulating in the veins of the dermis. So blood color do play a role. The red color underlying the skin becomes more visible, especially in the face, when as consequence of physical exercise or sexual arousal, or the stimulation of the nervous system, such as anger, embarrassment, asteriolus, whatever that means. An asteriole is a small diameter blood vessel in the microcirculation that extends and branches out from an artery and leads to capillaries. Color is not entirely uniform across an individual's skin. For example, the skin of the palm and the sole is lighter than most other skin, and this is especially noticeable in darker skinned people. It's kind of true, even though I'm not like the darkest per se, but yeah, I'm pretty brown. I'm kind of curious about melanin. Melanin, which comes from a Greek word meaning black and dark? Okay. It's a broad term for a group of natural pigments found in most organisms. Melanin is produced through a multi-stage chemical process known as melanogenesis, where the oxidation of the amino acid tyrosine is followed by polymerization. The melanin pigments are produced in a specialized group of cells known as melanocytes. There are 5 basic types of melanin, whatever those are. The most common type is whatever it is, brown and black, or obviously I'm sure that just means a particular feature. Interesting. So, pheomelanin is a crystalline derivative that contains polybenzothiazine, I think, portions that are largely responsible for the color of red hair, among other pigmentation. Neuromelanin is found in the brain. Research has been undertaken to investigate its efficacy in treating neurodegenerative disorders such as Parkinson's. Allomelanin and pyomelanin are 2 types of nitrogen-free melanin. In human skin, melanogenesis is initiated by exposure to UV radiation, causing the skin to darken. Melanin is an effective absorbent of light. The pigment is able to dissipate over 99.9% of absorbed UV radiation. So melanin is an effective absorbent of light. Obviously, it absorbs all the light. The pigment is able to dissipate over 99.9% of absorbed UV radiation. That's super cool. Because of this property, melanin is thought to protect skin cells from UVB damage, radiation damage, which is what I was kind of sort of thinking too, reducing the risk of folate depletion and dermal degradation, and it is considered that exposure to UV radiation is associated with increased risk of malignant melanoma, a cancer of melanocytes. Okay, and so studies have shown a lower incidence for skin cancer in individuals with more concentrated melanin, that is, darker skin tone. However, the relationship between skin pigmentation and photoprotection is still uncertain. Wait, so melanin is not just in human? Is that also... Do they have that in other beings too? Other organisms. That answers. Melanins have very diverse roles and functions in various organisms. So, a form of melanin makes up the ink used by many cephalopods, such as octopus and squids. The cephalopod ink is kind of a very interesting defense mechanism. Has a defense mechanism against predators. Melanin also protect microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi against stresses that involve cell damage, such as UV radiation from the sun and reactive oxygen species. Melanin also protect against damage from high temperature, chemical stresses such as heavy metals and oxidizing agent and biochemical treat, such as host defenses against invading microbes. Therefore, in many pathogenic microbes, for example, in whatever, as a fungus, okay, melanin appears to play important role in virulence and pathogenicity by protecting the microbe against immune responses of its host. So melanin does a lot of things. It is also available in plants. Early humans evolved to have dark skin color around 1.2 million years ago as an adaptation to a loss of body hair that increased the effect of UV radiation. Before the development of hairlessness, early humans had reasonably light skin underneath their fur, similar to that found in other primates. Interesting. The most recent scientific evidence indicates that anatomically modern humans evolved in Africa between 200,000 to 100,000 years back, and then populated the rest of the world through one migration between 80,000 and 50,000 years ago in some areas, interbreeding with certain archaeal human species. Okay, be interested in that. Neanderthals, Denisovans, and possibly others. Yeah, we were fucking around. It seems likely that the first modern humans had relatively large numbers of eumelanin producing melanocytes, producing darker skin similar to the indigenous people of Africa today. As some of these original people migrated and settled in areas of Asia and Europe, the selective pressure of eumelanin decreased in climates where radiation from the sun was less intense. They eventually This eventually produced the current range of human skin color of the two common genes variant known to be associated with pale human color. I'm curious about archaeal human species. Who were they? A number of varieties of Homo are grouped into the broad category of archaic humans in the period that precedes and is contemporary to the emergence of the earliest early modern humans. Around 300 aka Ka. What is Ka? A year in the orbital period of a planetary body, for example, the Earth moving in its orbit around the Sun due to Earth's axial tilt. The course of a year sees the passing of the. So it's just a year? Why does it call Ka then? But even that doesn't make sense. Okay. CA 195 or 233 Ka. I'm super interested in understanding what that Ka even means. They remain from Jebel, whatever, in Morocco, and Florisbad in South Africa are among the earliest remains of Homo sapiens. The term typically includes Homo neanderthalensis, Denisovans, Homo rhodesensis, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo naledi, Homo ergaster, Homo antecessor, and Homo habilis. And I completely fucked up all of those words. Okay. There is no universal consensus on this terminology, and variety of archaic humans are included under the binomial name of either Homo sapiens or Homo erectus by other authors. Anatomically, comparison of skulls of anatomically modern humans and Homo neanderthalis. So, look like Neanderthals had like a bigger brain. Yeah, they definitely feel kind of like superior. They were bigger with bigger brains. Not sure how they kind of fucked it up, or who fucked it up. Who knows? I want to go into the Homo group. Let's see. Homo from Latin homo, meaning man, is the genus that emerged in the otherwise extinct genus. So they were our ancestors. Australopithecus is a genus of early hominins that existed. I'm sure they were like Bushmen or something. No, I don't know. Cavemen probably. Bushmen means something else. Species Homo sapiens, plus several extinct species classified as either ancestral or to or closely related to modern humans. I hope they have like some sort of comparison, like some sort of chart comparing the features of different humans. But okay, so they were like, we're not too far away from what do you call gorillas. Here we are, Homo sapiens. Too bad we don't have photos of any other species. That would be great though, right? I mean, if we have a time machine and if we can just go back to any different timeline without affecting anything in that timeline, meaning maybe more like maybe like a hologram or something, just go in that period and just observe people doing whatever they were doing. And especially, if you go back long enough, then before even people were people. It would be fascinating to see how our ancestors used to survive all the craziness of the natural world, and maybe help us to kind of feel grateful for all the shit thing we have around us. Uh, but there you go. This is what I was looking for. Comparative table. Yeah, yeah. Just keep. Yeah, she's just exploring the rest of the place. Like I said, this is the first time exploring the entire place by herself, so I'm just letting her do what she want to do. Interesting. So these are different species or genes, lineages is probably, obviously it's a header there, so that makes sense. That's why it's called lineages. And where are we? Oh, sapiens, right here. So let's see. It's still K-A-K-Y-A. I'm gonna check that out, what that even means. But this word 2100 to 1500 KYA. Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa, Africa, Western Europe. So this was 1200 to 800. Italy, Europe, Africa, Northeast China, Namibia, Zambia, Indonesia. That's interesting. Island Flores, Indonesia, until the arrival of modern humans about 50,000 years ago. Oh, wow. So it was just 50,000 years back? But then this is 40,000 years back, I believe. Red Deer Cave people. Prehistoric Arctic human population fossils dated to between 17,830 to 11,500 years ago. Yeah, it's very few fossil record. We know Hadleys, we have plenty of their fossil record. They were gone a while back, yeah, 2100 to 1500, whatever that KY is. This looks pretty recent. I'm gonna check out what that KYA is. I'm probably gonna end the topic and the stream for today with this. Okay, let's scroll up here. Alright, different ways to calculate time. And year, fiscal year, academic year, Julian, tropical, draconian. What is draconian period? The orbital period is the time a given astronomical object takes to complete one orbit around another orbit. Okay. Full moon cycle, lunar, vague, heliac. Oh. Where is KYA? Is this talking about? Oh, typical number of days. Okay, 365, depending on the year, type of year. Okay, Ka for kilo annum is a unit of time equal to 1000 or 10 to the power 3 years, or 1e3 year, also known as millennium in anthropology and calendar uses. The prefix multiplier K is typically used in geology, paleontology, and archaeology for the Holocene and Pleistocene periods, where a non-radiocarbon dating technique, example ice core dating, dendrochronology, uranium thorium dating, or barb analysis is used as a primary dating method for age determination. If age is determined primarily by radiocarbon dating, then the age should be expressed in either radiocarbon or calendar calibrated years before present. Then what is MAGAGAPAEA? Okay, so I see. MA is mega, so 10 power 6. GA is giga, so 10 power 9. And tera, 10 power 12. Peta. And okay, so basically 10 to the power 3 mean 1,000 years. Oh, look at this. Look at who wants to be part of this. Where did you go? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Sprinkles. Okay. You want a room by yourself? Go for it. Or you want to come here? Come join me. Come on. Come on. Maybe not. Well, that's cat for you in a nutshell. She would do whatever the hell she wanted to do, which is one of the things I admire about cats. I mean, out of all the things, isn't that the quality you want to develop in yourself as well? To do whatever the hell you want to do, regardless of what anybody tell you. And of course, you gotta be reasonable with that as well. I mean, no one would tolerate total freedom, so to speak. And that's a touchy topic. I kind of hope that at some point, we ran into like one of those random articles which kind of like take us to the hot button topic of, all of the craziness happening in the world, I guess. But this is kind of interesting. I like the flow. It kind of eases off any kind of pressure in my mind, and I can just bounce from one article to another article and maybe just BS around. And I'm not sure why I'm doing this per se. A part of me is kind of just excited to learn about various concepts and also just get with the flow of how one topic is connected to the other topic. And at times it kind of surprises me, I start from one topic and by the time I'm like and it's like in a completely different topic, and how those connections are formed within any research or Wikipedia page for that matter is fascinating. I mean, that happens a lot, even on like the YouTube videos. I start consuming one type of video, and over time it sort of like connects me or autoplay like a completely different type of video, and it creates like a whole new pattern of my videos, I guess. On a similar line, I want to just let it breathe, or let this process kind of breathe and go wherever it feels like naturally flowing. And speaking of that, right now the sleep is naturally flowing through my eyes, so I'm gonna sign off and hope to continue this tomorrow. Until then,